Get 3 months of local news for just 99 cents a month. You'll get unlimited access to the news you need to stay engaged and connected to your community. Visit DuluthNewsTribune.com/subscribe now to get 3 months of local news for only 99 cents a month.
Hello Northlanders, it's Tuesday, May 21st. I'm Wyatt Buckner, the Duluth News Tribune Minute, presented by Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union.
The average MPECU member saves over $785 a year in better rates and lower fees. And with MPECU, every ATM is your ATM. With their free checking program, you get ATM fee reimbursements at any ATM anywhere in the U.S. Check out Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union services online at mpecu.com or visit their offices in downtown Duluth, Arrowhead Road, or Miller Trunk Highway.
Now here's today's headlines. Several mining and energy-related bills passed in the final days of the Minnesota Legislature session. The bills take steps to reform or streamline some permitting requirements for clean energy infrastructure projects and projects that require environmental reviews, including mining projects. They begin the rulemaking process for oversight of any helium and hydrogen extraction projects and allow for the return of mining to a state park after nearly half a century. The Environment Omnibus Bill includes language that would allow projects, including mining, under environmental review to request a coordinated review among state agencies and set deadlines for any action taken by a state agency. It aims to speed up the review of any project that needs an environmental worksheet or a more stringent environmental impact statement. The bill would also establish a critical material recovery task force to explore ways to recover aluminum, cobalt, copper, nickel, and other materials from waste before they enter a landfill or an incinerator. Another permitting bill passed late Sunday as part of the lengthy omnibus bill. The Minnesota Energy Infrastructure Permitting Act aims to speed up the permitting process of clean energy projects like transmission lines, power plants, and energy storage systems by setting timelines for review and streamlining other processes. State lawmakers last year set a deadline of reaching 100% carbon-free electricity by 2040. Language in the Environment Omnibus Bill that passed both chambers last week will set regulations on the state's nascent helium extraction industry. The bill would prohibit the commercial production of gases until a permit is approved and allow companies to lease state land and explore it, generating money from Minnesota school trust lands. Currently, exploration is only allowed on private land. It would also allow state agencies to begin a public rulemaking process to develop final rules for the industry. A production permit can't be granted until the rulemaking is complete, or if the legislature approves temporary rules while the final rulemaking process plays out. The bill came after samples from one well showed helium deep beneath northeastern Minnesota's forested floor. British Columbia-based Pulsar Helium obtained samples from the hole near Babbitt and Isabella containing up to 13.8% helium, far above the 0.3 concentration considered of economic interest. The discovery has spurred interest and more exploration for helium and even hydrogen gases is expected in the region. The Environmental Omnibus Bill also abolishes Hill Annex State Park in Calumet, as it could once again become an iron ore mine, as allowed by the legislation that established the park. The bill requires the site to close while mining and mineral extraction leases are in place. It also calls for an advisory board to determine the future use of the site once mining there ends again. The Calumet Reclamation Company, a Scram mining company, wants to take iron ore waste left behind by previous miners and ship it to North Dakota to process it into pig iron, a key ingredient for steel made by electric arc furnaces. Cleveland Cliffs also wants to mine the area and process the ore into pellets at its Hibbing taconite facility. Crews continue to search Monday for 2 Minnesota men who have been missing since their canoe went over Curtin Falls in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness on Saturday evening. Missing are Jesse Haugen, 41 of Cambridge, and Reese Grams, 40 of Lino Lakes. The St. Louis County Sheriff's Office Rescue Squad was using airborne drones and remotely operated underwater vehicles in the search along the Minnesota-Ontario border where Crooked Lake flows into Iron Lake, far from the nearest road or developed area. Most paddlers consider Curtin Falls too dangerous to attempt to paddle through, instead opting to use a land portage to carry canoes and gear around the falls. Several other incidents have happened at the site over the years. The accident was reported at about 7:21 p.m. Saturday when a caller said 2 canoes had gone over Kirshen Falls with 1 person badly injured. After midnight Sunday, a Minnesota Department of Natural Resources helicopter was used to airlift 1 injured person out of the scene. Kyle Sellers, 47 of Ham Lake, Minnesota, was taken to Essentia St. Mary's Medical Center in Duluth with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. 2 other people in the group were uninjured. Meanwhile, the U.S. Forest Service has closed parts of the BWCAW to keep people away from the search area. 1 person was killed in a motorcycle deer crash in the town of Hawthorne Sunday morning, according to a news release from Douglas County Sheriff Matt Izzard. Speed appears to have been a factor, he said. Sheriff's deputies responded to a single vehicle crash on County Highway B involving a motorcycle that hit a deer at 10:43 a.m. The operator of the motorcycle was pronounced dead at the scene. The identity of the victim is not being released at this time pending family notifications. Now here's a Q forecast brought from the News Tribune's Northlandia podcast.
Good Tuesday, Duluth area, looking at rain likely and becoming windy as we head into the afternoon hours. Rain-cooled temperatures right around 50 degrees throughout the day, and the wind from the east-northeast off the lake about 20 to 30 miles an hour. Rain chances are going to continue overnight tonight. We'll be looking at periods of rain throughout the day on Wednesday as well. Many in the area could see 1 to 2 inches, might see an isolated 3-inch total closer to northern and central Minnesota as we continue to keep the temperatures on the cool side Wednesday afternoon. Mid-50s expected, drying out finally on Thursday with partly cloudy skies and mid-60s for highs before rain chances return, along with highs in the 40s for Friday. I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist Jesse Ritka.
Thank you to the Northlandia podcast for their support. The bi-weekly podcast explores curious and unique stories here in the Northland. The latest episode looks at how a Grand Marais coffee shop connects the community with weather reports. You can find that episode and others at DuluthNewsTribune.com or wherever you also get this podcast. Reporting for today's episode was done by Jimmy Lovren, John Myers, and Maria Lockwood. Thank you for listening to Duluth News Tribune Minute. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.